Oh, that's fucking adorable. All right. Welcome to this edition of Oh, That's Fucking Adorable, where I tell stories about our journey as a real estate investor that literally there's nothing else to say other than, oh, that's fucking adorable. That's my saying when I feel pain, when I can't believe what I'm hearing, and there's no way in the world this is actually happening to us. Today, we're going to be talking about back in the day when we used to flip houses all the time. We had deals going on all across the United States. Here in our backyard in Fort Worth, Texas, we were doing a luxury flip, and the luxury flip got overtaken by vultures. Now, you might be thinking like, RJ, come on. I mean, it's vultures, right? You just hire someone, they come out, and they remove the vultures. No. That's not the case. That's not the case. See, here's the thing. I want to bring up slide number 1 to show you guys what we were dealing with. Slide number 1 here. Let's make it full screen so you can see. Vultures are protected in Texas through the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918 and Texas state statute. The act protects native non-game birds in the U.S., including the black vulture and the turkey vulture, which are native to North Texas. It's illegal to intentionally harm or kill vultures without a permit. Now, that being said, we didn't have to kill them, right? We could have just had them removed, right? Well, the problem with having them removed is that when we noticed the vultures, we didn't think a whole lot about it. Like, we noticed them like on the house, we noticed them in the yards, and we were working, like we were actively working on the property. We were in the middle of the rehab, very extensive rehab. Okay. This is a multi-million-dollar property, close to 6,000 square feet, needed a complete rehab. So the rehab took us a long time. And then we had other issues with the property itself. It had a metal roof that was leaking, and it didn't start leaking until we had already finished the rehab. And then we had leaks throughout the house, which caused us to have to figure out how to fix the leak without having to replace the roof, because it would have cost us literally close to $100,000 to replace the roof. So there was a lot of issues that were going on with this property in and of itself. We didn't really think that we needed to be concerned about vultures, right? I mean, if you're at a property and you notice a vulture, you kind of think maybe there's a dead animal. You don't think that they're going to like take nest. Well, this property was a little bit unique because it had a courtyard. So let me bring up what I mean. This is the best picture that I could find of this. So this is obviously the interior of the house. This is like a dining room / office area. Well, these doors lead to this courtyard area. Okay, so the only way that you could access this courtyard was through these doors, and on this sidewall right here was windows into the kitchen. Okay, so this courtyard right here didn't really have anything in it, and this property kind of looked like a castle. Okay, that's what we called it, was the castle. So it had a wooden deck right out here that you would step out, and then you would step down into the courtyard. Well, the vultures actually took nest inside of the courtyard. And the reason why we could not remove the vultures is because they laid eggs in the courtyard. And when vultures, or any bird that falls under this Act of 1918, you have to wait until the eggs hatch and the juvenile birds become adults for them to be removed. So they laid 2 eggs inside of the courtyard and became very protective over the eggs. I mean, to the point where when we would pull up to walk the property, they were aggressive. Right? They would be sitting up on top of the house. They would swoop down. They would, have these aggressive like calls towards us. Like they would be walking with their wings spread, like they're gonna come get us. I mean, it was intense. And there was nothing we could do. We called people, and it's like, unfortunately, due to this act, it's illegal to do anything. So the eggs, we had to wait on them to hatch. Both of them hatch. And then there was 2 baby vultures, and then we had to wait until they grew up to become adults. And this was a luxury flip. I mean, it was killing us. I mean, we got to the point where we finished the rehab, and the property just had to basically sit and wait because we couldn't list the property with these vultures. I mean, they were aggressive. They're sitting inside of this courtyard. And then the other thing that we found out is that vulture poop is acidic. And so it was doing extreme damage to the property. The wooden deck, we basically had to replace. Anything that the poop basically touched, it damaged. So on some of the roof, on some of the ledges of the roof had to be repaired. I mean, it was intense. It was crazy. We have a couple other pictures here of the vultures that I took. I guess I was feeling funny during this one, wanted dead or alive. So this is actually 3 of the 4 vultures. As you can see, I think this is one of the babies. This is right as we were nearing the end. Like, all right, it's time, right? These vultures, they've got to go. And then I've got one more. This shows them kind of sitting up on the top ledge, being that's what they would do right there. They would spread their wings, and this one's kind of landing, but that's also what they would do if they were being aggressive towards you. So they would sit up here on top of the fireplaces. This house had 5 or 6 fireplaces. So they would sit up there. They would sit on the roof, and if you pulled up, I mean, they were aggressive. They would come after you. So we hired someone to come out to remove the vultures once the baby vultures grew up, and it was interesting. They put down like this sticky glue type material on the ledges. And so what would happen is that the vultures would land, and their claw would get on there, and it would bother the vulture, and then the vulture would try to like eat or lick it off, and then it was extremely like spicy, like it hurt them, it irritated them. And so that was like to try to get them to want to move away from that. And then some of the ledges we actually had to put spikes on. So this property already looked like a castle, and now we're literally like putting like battle gear to make the vultures want to move away from the property. I mean, it was insane. So it wasn't like a quick process to get the vultures out, even when we could. Even that took a couple of weeks. And then I felt really bad because the vultures just literally moved from our property to the neighbor's property. So as we listed the property, we would show up, and then we could see all 4 vultures literally on the neighbor's roof. And I was like, oh my goodness, these poor people, they don't even know what they've got themselves into. It was a crazy experience. And then the last experience that I had with the vultures, I'll never forget it. I wish I could have gotten it on camera. But me and Cassie, we were driving out to look at the property. It was like a final walkthrough, something like that. Just we need to go out there to grab stuff from the property, probably Cassie's realtor sign and some other things. And we're driving down. So this property is located by TCU. And so once you pass Hewlin, which is like a main thoroughfare over by TCU, it kind of becomes a quieter road, but still like the main street that you would turn off of to go down our street that the property set on. And so we're going down it. And over by TCU, they've got trees that overgrow the street, and it's pretty and really nice houses, like multi-million-dollar houses in this area. And we're like, I don't know, an eighth of a mile from turning down the street. And one of the vultures, I think it was one of the parents, was sitting in the middle of the street. And as we approached it, the vulture turned to the car, and I slowed down and basically came to a complete stop. And the vulture just spread its wings and started walking right towards the car. It was like, and I'm like, what? I'm in a car. I cannot believe, after all this pain and misery of dealing with these vultures for months and waiting on their eggs to hatch and then waiting on the juvenile vultures to grow up, and we finally get you removed and we're done. We're finally done with this miserable project. One last interaction with the vulture, and he's literally saying, I will attack your car. And I just floored it, and he flew off. And man, just what a crazy experience we had. So listen, anytime you have any sort of wildlife involved with your flips or a property you own, don't wait. Take care of it. I would have never thought that we would have had to wait and spend the amount of money that we spent on holding costs, property taxes, insurance, utilities. I mean, it killed us. And all profit on this deal was lost hand over foot because of the time that it took on the rehab, the setbacks that we had, but then also just this situation with these vultures. So, oh man, was it fucking adorable? I don't know. I definitely said, oh, that's fucking adorable many times. Specifically when I said, hey, you are a specialist at removing vultures. Come get rid of these vultures at my property. And they're like, oh, we can't do that. That was the, oh, this is fucking adorable moment. So, hey, be wary of vultures. Be wary of any wildlife involved with your properties. It's not good. It's only going to cost you time, money, and just a ton of mental fortitude to deal with the fact that you're just waiting on life to pass you by as you're waiting on two baby vultures to become grown-ups. Let me know what you think about this story. Leave me a comment. Make sure you like the video, and we'll see you next week on Oh, That's Fucking Adorable.